How am I supposed to put this? I've got a collar. Or a lapel.
Hi and welcome back to another video. In this one I'm going to talk about working with actors versus working with non-actors. So if you're directing or working on, say, something that's more narrative based, chances are you can be working with an actor or multiple actors. So they may be classically trained, or they may just be sort of experienced or a veteran in that field. And there's a certain way you'll get a performance from them. Chances are you'll be working with them to find the right performance for that scene or for that character. So it's about meeting them in the middle. It's a conversation between actor and director, and that will happen from pre-production right up until the day of filming. Obviously, in a sense, it's all pretending, but if you've got something that's a particularly emotional scene, and maybe this involves crying or anger or something like that, if they're good in their field, they'll go to a place in their mind to reach that point. It's not just pretending in the sense where they can just kind of flick a switch and become sad. They have to emotionally go to a place to get that performance. So a short film I directed called The Black Shark, I'm very grateful for Rebecca's performance because there's some dark moments in that film, and so she would have to have gone to those places to give us that performance. It wasn't just sort of, pretending and then come back again. So working with non-actors can be different, and I'm not entirely sure where how far the term non-actors can spread to, whether that's just sort of random people you're interviewing, people who have never acted before but are having to act, or even child actors. And child actors are also actors, and they do give performances, and sometimes they give very good performances as well. I mean, in recent cases, we've got Jojo Rabbit that just came out, and all the child actors in that are really good. But often they don't nominate child actors for Oscars or BAFTAs or any of the award seasons. I know there are exceptions, and there was a lot of question about why this was, but I think Mark Kermode stated that it's normally because that performance a child actor is given comes from the director. It doesn't necessarily come from the child actor. If you're directing non-actors in something that's maybe a documentary, there's still some direction involved. Documentaries aren't as transparent as maybe you first think they are. Documentaries still have a director or like someone who's sort of the author of the story. So there's still someone pushing a narrative there. But if you're going for a certain angle with the piece you're directing, it's about asking the right questions, but it's also about briefing them on the project, telling them what the project is and what it's about, so it starts to mold the way you want it to. When you're working with somebody who is perhaps not an actor professionally, or is new to the sort of acting game, we work with a child actor, it's slightly different. Now, a lot of directors actually choose to work with non-actors for films. For example, Katie Jarvis was cast in Fishtank. I think she was only 15 at the time. The director just saw her at a train station and knew she was right for the part. But I imagine a similar approach was taken. It's about explaining the situation of the scene and explaining the film. But also I think it's more about, especially when you're working with child actors, it's more about creating an environment to capture something that's maybe a little more natural. It's not going to be as rehearsed. It's sort of going to have to be a little more improvised, I think. Just to conclude, there's different approaches when you're directing actors versus non-actors, but there's also some similarities as well. And the main thing is just creating environments and finding the best way to communicate with whoever you're directing, and what the scene is or what the film is, in order to get the most honest and most genuine, and obviously just the best performance from them. All right, thanks for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye.